But what we're working on this week, pond is going to be going right here. We've got the skimmer in place and located, so that's going to get dug out right there. We've got some big old boulders back on the trailer that are going to get set around this backside back here so that we can define the berm that waterfall is going to come out of. And that waterfall is going to sit right about there. It's going to have some planting capacity back here behind it, so we can kind of disguise that and just make it look more natural. And we're not able to kind of do drawings necessarily of exactly what a pond's going to look like because we don't know what rocks we're going to get. And so I just showed up at the shop this morning and picked out some big rocks, and some of these are big. So these are what we're going to use to define the backside of our berm. So we've got an audience. Digging has started, and so the client's grandkids are over here seeing the tractors. Got our retaining wall boulders in place right back here. Our biofalls is going to sit right there about where Philip dumped that dirt. We're going to have waterfalls spilling down into here, and he's working on excavating the pond right now. We'll come in behind him and clean up the shelves as he goes along. Right now it's important to get this built up so we've got a little bit of a berm, these natural stones right here. We try to avoid the volcano appearance, sometimes we'll call it, where it's just a stack of rocks all just piled up on top of each other with water shooting up out of the middle. So we try to avoid that appearance just because it's not natural looking, and try to create these hillsides appearance like you might see in the mountains with a spring coming up between some very large rocks. So that's what we've got going on right now. Got a tractor over here. As soon as this berm gets filled up with soil, we're going to start hauling it out of here. We do not need it. What do you think, kids? You like it? Y'all going to come over and play with the fish once they're done? All right, so we've got our pond dug, liners in, equipment's in. I was going to take a quick second to show you kind of what all there is behind the scenes and under the rock that you don't get to see on the finished product. So you've got your skimmer right here. The door will open up like so, and that allows the water to go in. This basket right here catches your large debris, leaves and other large floating litter. Our pump is going to sit down in there and is going to connect into this pipe that comes out the side of the skimmer box and goes around through this flexible 2-inch pipe down this trench and pipes into the bottom of our biofalls. So the water comes in at the bottom. We're going to have layers of these two filter medias right there that sit down inside here. So the water comes up through those, and they strip out the smaller organic matter, fish waste, grass clippings, and that sort of thing. And our beneficial bacteria live on that and are breaking that down, and they're also stripping the nitrites and the phosphates out of the water as it comes up through there before it hits the waterfall. That process of denitrifying the water also pulls oxygen out of the water, so it's important for us to re-oxygenate it before it hits the pond and the fish and the rest of the ecosystem. This rock tray right here allows us to fill this up with rocks and gravel, and we'll actually plant water plants down in that tray. We'll fill in this dirt up to here, up to this level, and mulch, and then let the mulch the pine straw mulch just kind of hang over the side. We'll have rock, plants, and gravel on there, so this right here will disappear. In front of that, we're gonna have two large frame rocks and a spill stone that will disguise the front of that, create a nice natural looking waterfall. Probably have a couple of drops. We just have to see how the stones do in this process, because our pond actually starts down here. So we'll have large boulders up there with a spill stone that'll come down. There'll be two more frame rocks down here at the bottom, because this is actually where our pond is. So there'll be another waterfall that's going to drop down into the pond down here. We're 24 plus, actually this one's about 26 inches deep. And so I'm down in the bottom of the pond. We've got two shelves. One of them is about 10 inches and the other makes up the balance to get us down to about 25 inches. That gives us for this particular client, he wanted to do lots of aquatic planting. So we've got a pocket over here for some plants. We've got a recessed plant pocket over there and some other good areas where this won't be super deep on this top shelf, but it gets us down quickly so he can have some nice fish in here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 big old rocks. They are big ones. And so we've got those dropped into place, and that just kind of helps naturalize it. Most of that you won't see unless you're back here poking around, but it just helps those small things, which in this case end up being the small things are 3,000 pound boulders. Those small things kind of help naturalize it and keep it from looking like a volcano. So I want to use that big stone back there along here, but it ate too much into the pond. So we just pulled the liner up and we're going to chew up the edge of our pond that we worked so hard to form right there so that we can get that big stone in there, make it do what we want it to. So these are our big frame rocks, and that's a big steel bucket. These are our frame rocks here. So we've got our waterfall is going to originate back here. We're going to get a spill stone in above that, right up in there, so that the water comes over that is going to drop down into this hole down in here that's going to be formed because we're going to have a spill stone right in across here. So we'll have stone here, and then this will all be backfilled with gravel, so we'll have a hole with the water dropping down. It'll shoot to the side and then come out right here. It's going to look cool. We've got a spot right in here for a plant pocket, another place right there for a plant pocket, which I love doing because we've got all this kind of cold hard stone, which actually is really hot right now, but we've got all this stone. I want to soften up the faces of those stones. So an easy way to do that is to create these plant pockets behind the boulders, so that as that plant's growing up, it just green on that stone really highlights both the stone and the plant and kind of softens things up. We went through all that trouble to get it nice and clean, and now we're blowing it out. But it's all for a good cause. Here is our pond. It has taken shape, really coming together. I tell the guys that my goal, once we show up in your backyard, is to make sure you've got the best thing that we can possibly deliver within the parameters of the space. The shelf was all the way out here, and it was really encroaching in on that central zone down there. So we ended up pulling two big stones out, this one and this one. We pulled them out. We redug, because we had enough liner, we redug the pond out to back here. We blew out a bunch of that shelf right there, scooted everything back out, opened up that center zone quite a bit, giving more space for the fish. I'm really pleased with the way this is turning out. I love the way these waterfalls are looking back there beside the skimmer. So we've got a nice pocket right here with this pickerel that gets it out of the way of the movement of the water. Pickerel is fairly aggressive. We've got a dwarf papyrus right there that's kind of out of the way also, but both of these plants are going to do a good job of softening the very large flat faces of those two boulders that they're sitting in front of. Then we've got some small marginals up here. Our moss is covering most of our foam right there, and then once this is filled up and the water's running out, this stuff here in the middle will disappear. We're going to mulch back here and with pine straw, so that will finish covering up the edge of the biofalls, bring that dirt up just a little bit higher. Got some gravel work to do back behind here. Got to clean up our edges. Got a lot of ugly liner sticking out here, and the goal is that once we pond, and what we got done